Welcome to the Rusted Garden Homestead. This video is all about really mid-growth care for your tomato plants. Sometimes it's called mid-season, but you're really looking for the plants to be about halfway to their size and production, and that's really where my tomato plants are now. You're looking for plants that are, 3 feet tall, getting to 4 feet tall. They have fruit on them. These have already been cared for in the beginning of the year. I have plenty of videos on that. But now that we're at the beginning of July, tomatoes are forming, the plants are getting larger. We're going to just put down a basic organic granular fertilizer. I'll show you how to do that. You don't need to overthink it. Then we're going to water it in with a water-soluble fertilizer. That's all you really need to do. You can let the tomatoes go after that. If they look like they're struggling, or maybe towards the end of the season when they've been producing a lot, they're bigger, hit them with a water-soluble fertilizer. If you want to follow me, I'll be talking about that, sort of the end of the season care for your tomato plants. I'm in Maryland Zone 7, so I have winters rolling, so these plants won't keep going and going. We're also going to mulch, but we'll get to that throughout the video. Now, there's basic mulch down here now. With the heat arriving for July, tomato plants will shut down. They will drop flowers, they will drop fruit. One way to protect them and keep that growth going for the rest of the season is to mulch. What you do is put down grass clippings that we're going to use. You can use any mulch, but that helps keep the soil cool. And when the root systems stay a little bit cooler, the plants don't think they have to go into survival mode, so they will continue to produce. It's that sun that beats down and really heats up that top 4 to 6 inches of the soil that sends a signal to the plants very often that they need to stop producing and just wait for the better temperatures. Mulching will keep moisture in there. It will keep the roots cooler. So down here, this is where we're going to start. These are 4 tomato plants in a 4x4 space. They've already been mulched regularly with grass clippings. It just rained yesterday. So when you put grass clippings down, you're only putting down 1 or 2 inches. I have a video on that if you want to check it out. You don't want to over stack the green grass in there because it's going to start to smell. 2 inches, it'll dry, it'll break down, it'll brown out. Once it gets brown like this, you would put down another layer of grass, and that's what we're going to do. This is an organic granular fertilizer. Any organic granular fertilizer that's on sale, meets your budget, is fine. You just want to make sure N, P, and K is represented. And all you're going to do is sprinkle some of it around just like that, all over the surface. At this point, you don't want to really get right up to the stem, but around it is fine. You don't have to go crazy with it, but you're putting out a nice, even layer throughout your soil. At this point, tomato roots have gone throughout this entire space. They love the top 4 to 6 inches of the soil. The organic granular is a slow release, so over the next couple of weeks, 2, 4, 6, 8 weeks, this will break down. It'll wash into the root zone, and I would just cover this whole area. That's all you do for the organic granular. This is the slow release again, so it's going to feed over many, many weeks. We're also going to go to a water-soluble fertilizer that we'll put in after I put the mulch down. I want to do that just to show you what it looks like. I'm using AgroThrive now. You can check out the video description. I'm affiliated with them. This is a nice 3-3-2 NP and K, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. So it's a little bit more balanced than what I typically use, which is Alaska fish emulsion, and you can find that at my Amazon shop, which is in the video description too. The Alaska brand fish emulsion is a 5-1-1 NP and K. I like the higher nitrogen from the fish emulsion to help any plants that are struggling, that are yellow, and I like using it in the beginning. But now for mid-season, I'm switching over to AgroThrive. Don't worry about the numbers. If you can only afford fish emulsion or find it, it's fine. The big difference is fish emulsion stinks, so you don't want to use that a couple days before a barbecue or a party at your place. AgroThrive is also organic, it just doesn't smell as bad, so some people have concern over that. And fish emulsion has been reported to bring in kind of cats and animals in certain areas. I've never had that problem, but it's 2 options. But you want the water-soluble fertilizer. That means the N, P, and K can be immediately drawn in by the plant. Let me mulch this up and then we'll do the feed. Simple mid-season care. So I set up the AgroThrive. It's typically 4 ounces into a gallon of water. That's what you use for growing plants. I'm just using 2 ounces. So this is a 2-gallon container, 4 ounces of the AgroThrive. My whole focus is really on a slow and steady feeding to your plants. You don't have to always match numbers perfectly with N, P, and K across the soil. I don't even know how to do that. Compost is well below a 1-1-1 N, P, and K, so you just want slow and steady fertilizing and feeding of your plants. So I get a lot of questions, how often should I do this? It really depends on how well you set up your soil, but you could do this once a month. Once a month you could put down your organic granular, then throw down your mulch on top of that. It could be grass. If you're going to use grass, make sure you don't have any lawn chemicals on there. It could be leaves, it could be straw, it could be hay, it could be shredded hardwood. It doesn't matter. So organic granular down, we put the mulch on top. That keeps the granular moist. Microbes will break that down. It will work its way into the root system over the weeks, like I said, when it rains or you water. For a mid-season or mid-growth care of your tomato plants, we're not going to just water at the base of the plant. You do that when your plant's getting started and you really concentrate the nitrogen around here. This is for an ongoing feeding, so we do water right at the base. You can water the foliage with this, but I'm going to just water the entire square because the root systems of the plant are everywhere. And I would just go around and just something like that. In this 4 by 4 foot space, this is 16 square feet, I would probably use the full 2 gallons. But we are just putting down that water-soluble nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, which the plants can use right away. And I pretty much set my plants up for mid-growth or mid-season. And again, you could do this once a month if you want to. You don't have to over TLC, tender loving care your plants. Just keep it consistent. All right, let's go over to the other side, to that first group of tomatoes. I almost said potatoes. Tomatoes that I showed you, and we'll just show you how to do that real quick. The tomatoes in this garden were mulched with leaves. Leaves, grass, straw, hay are wonderful because at the end of the year you can just mix that right into your soil. The microbiology will love it. It will break down. It will feed the life of your soil. So it's a great way to do it. You can also put down shredded hardwood. This is shredded hardwood from a bag. You just have to look around for it. You can get it from local landscape companies, and you can see that it's really shredded nicely. This will break down over a season, and you could actually mix this into the top 6 inches of your soil. You don't want to mix in or use wood chips. Wood chips that are bigger like this will just never break down, and when you mix them into the top 4 to 6 inches of your soil, this tries to decompose, so it takes nitrogen from around your plants, so it really challenges the plant for nitrogen. Something finer like this works really well. At the end of the season, if you don't want to mix it in, just kind of rake it to the side, put your plants in, and then rake it back over. But I really like using this. So same thing at this point, handful of the granular, and I just scatter it around. The root systems again will go all over the place. The onions back there are almost ready. So I would just scatter the fertilizer down, and then you can put down a good 1 inch to 2 inches of the wood chips, and that will keep the moisture in there, and it's beneficial for all the reasons I said. I sell these metal signs at my seed shop. These are put on with a grease pencil, and you just rub them off with a towel or something like that, and you can reuse them year after year. 1 to 2 inches of the mulch. Let me set this up, we'll water them in, and I'll conclude with a couple more ideas on tomatoes. So this space, you know, coming over from here over to here and all the way down, is also about 4 feet by 4 feet. So about 2 gallons just watered across the top. I've been pruning up the bottom leaves off my plant, so I like to have a kind of a gap of 12 to 16 inches, and I remove a little bit each time the plant grows, you know, maybe another 6 or 12 inches. That gap just helps provide nice airflow. The mulch will keep that moisture in, and I really want to stress, if you get really hot summers and that sun is beating down, mulch will help your plants continue to produce so they don't shut down. And just to show you again real quick, you know, a couple seconds at the root base, and then you're just watering the whole area to get to all the surface roots. And again, you can do this every month going forward, and your tomatoes will love you for it. Thanks so much for watching. Please check out my seed shop at therustedgarden.com and enjoy your day. And please subscribe. I'll show you how these tomato plants do over the season and how I take care of them.